business builders globally, and number 86 in all of the ISA world in income earnings. So that's amazing, isn't it? His passions are family, travel, sports, of course, leadership, and personal development. And one of the things that I really love and appreciate about this guy is that he's comfortable sharing a really funny and embarrassing time in his life. Are you ready to hear about it? Yeah. Okay. Fact. At one time in his life, he sported a man perm, or as his friend called it, a berm. So as he sachets up here, I want you to picture him with his merm. Please welcome to our stage 7-star Golden Circle, 8-star Crystal Executive, sporting straight hair today, Allan Hilzinger.
Now I sport the platinum look. It's good to be back in Sydney. About a year ago. Who's seen me speak before? So you guys are like expecting this to go downhill very quick, I assume. I'll try not to swear. I think I was Gab's influence last time I was here. Who hasn't seen me speak before? You guys are in for an awesome hour. I guarantee that. I hope. If not, oh well, sorry. So you guys saw the better half of the duo. Now I'm just going to try and compete with that. Did anyone get anything from Larry's presentation? Awesome.
I stole all his content.
See, she stole it again. She started on follow-up, so I'm going to be talking to you guys about follow-up. Just quickly, what I did want to edify as well is that Larry and I know it did get touched on, we did come into this industry with no network marketing experience, and we did go very, very fast, and a lot of people look at the income and that kind of stuff, and we did go fast. It has been a journey, but the one thing that we have done is we've had a lot of conversations. And the reason I feel very comfortable standing up here sharing with you guys what I'm going to share is because I genuinely feel confident, because we've gone through our conversations. We've probably had 4,000 or 5,000 plus conversations in 2 years. And what I want to teach you guys today is the things that I've learned from those conversations. So hopefully you can get something out of that. But more importantly, my objective is that you actually leave here and use something. Use something that I teach you guys on follow-up. So my topic is follow-up. That you actually use it, and I want to give you wording to actually use. And the only thing that I ask is that if you find something that works for you, send me a message and let me know. And the reason I say that, it sounds a bit weird. The reason I say that is I now know, last week in Melbourne I presented this topic, and I've been inundated with people actually giving me feedback, and it's the same feedback, the same people, and now I'm like, okay, awesome, that's what I can focus on today in Sydney, on those areas, because I know that they're actually working for people. So when we're teaching and training other people, and obviously for yourself, if you guys give us the feedback, then that certainly helps. So please don't feel like you can't message or anything like that. I would love to hear from everyone what actually works. If it doesn't work, let me know as well, so I'll stop teaching it. It all works though. It doesn't. So this is my genuine belief. I believe you have to follow up if you want to grow up in this business. And there's a couple of reasons. The first reason is, as Larry was talking about, not everybody is ready straight away. So just a real quick story, even recently, we had a guy, myself and one of our personally enrolled Catch Blackburn were both prospecting, and that was cool. We were both intentionally prospecting together, and we reached a point where we were both like, oh my God, he's never going to join this business, we'll give up on him. Great network marketer in another company. Went about 4 months and we hadn't followed him up. And we're like, oh man, we've really got to follow him up. Catch went and followed him up. In that 4-month period, his network marketing company had made some changes. He left. He was looking for a new company. 1 month earlier, had joined a different company. So it just goes to show you, so it's important to keep following up. But even as you do, obviously you're still going to miss people. All you do is you actually learn the lesson and go, wow, okay. And it sort of reinvigorated us, so this is a great topic for me at the moment. So, following up key areas. This is what I'm going to touch on. Why is it important? System for following up, different categories, how to follow up, when to follow up, and specific wording. Hopefully you guys... I did say this in Melbourne as well. If you want to audio record this, you feel free to, because I will give you some wording, and I don't want to go back and repeat and repeat and repeat. So if you do want to record it, you can feel free to record it. Okay, so here's some key reasons why following up is important. Oh, sorry. So Larry touched on this, not everyone is ready yet. Who's ever had somebody tell them no and join their business? So those that haven't yet, just have a look. Leave your hand up, guys. Have a look around. There's so many that do. People live busy lives. So who has actually had somebody that they've sent messages to, and you're like, oh, I've sent them 4 messages, they're not going to get back to me, then all of a sudden they message you and go, oh, sorry, I forgot to actually reply, right?
Yeah.
And who lives a busy life here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of us. That's just the world we live in. We live busy lives. So understand that sometimes they are legitimately not replying to you just because they're busy, and it's not a priority. At that stage, it's not a priority to them. People may have missed conversations, especially, again, if they're busy. By following up, even if you never, ever, ever have them join your Isogenics business, it shows that you actually care. Because what happens is you follow up someone up 3 or 4 times and you stop, and then a year later you're like, oh, I've got to go and follow up Bob. Well, in Bob's mind, it's like, well, where were you for that last year? So that's why it's important to consistently follow up, not just follow up with ad lib. Oh yeah, I have to follow that person up. People, clearly I created these slides, not Larry. People know. With a written silent K, silent W. It is real and not just a fad, so this is real, clearly. You don't have to be very good at spelling to be good in this business. It builds the relationship, and most people will eventually join. Here's the thing. I honestly, genuinely believe that most people will join. It's not a question of, well, it is a question of when, and as much as anything, it's a question of who with. So my question to you guys as well on that last one is, who has actually been talking to someone about Isogenics and they've gone and enrolled with somebody else? Boom. All right, leave your hand up. Just leave your hand up. Now, leave your hand up if you expect that is likely to happen again. Right, cool. So, 2 things that I want to impress before I share some of the ways to follow up is, the first one is this is a direct reflection of 2 things. Either the way you're following up or the relationship you have with that person. So, quite often in the early days, we would be talking to someone that would enroll with somebody else, and we would sort of get angry about it, so to speak. I did all the work, I've been prospecting them, and they've gone and followed up with, and they've gone and signed up with somebody else. So 2 things are missing. One, as I said, you either weren't following up correctly, or you had not educated them correctly, which is part of the follow-up process as well. So my suggestion to you is, if you have those people, to go back and have a look at the conversation and to think about the conversation and see where it may have gone differently, where you could have changed it, because when you reflect on that and you start following up other people, you'll start learning how to do it differently so it doesn't happen to you again. Otherwise, it will happen again and again and again. It doesn't matter how many hours you put into that, it's all about the conversation that you actually have. And the other person may just have walked in and just had 1 sentence, but it was the correct sentence, and that person signed up with them. So it's really, really important to reflect on everything you do. So even some of these things that I'm teaching you guys today, some may not work for you. They've worked for me, and I tweak them and change them depending on the person. But what I'm saying is, use them and then reflect on them. So you get the wording, go away, use them, do them with 10 people, and and then tweak them so it suits your style, suits your relationships, that kind of stuff as well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So the first step in following up is to actually have a system. And I realised that by having an actual system, people are always like, what system do you use? Or what system should I use? Or we get a message saying, hey, Alan and Larry, what system do you guys use? I want to use the same system. And I'm like, well, the first thing to ask yourself is, what system will you actually use? Because, and I've got it on there, what will you actually use? If you hate the gym and you hate working out, Jen this morning is a great example. But she loves surfing, so when it comes to exercise, what's she actually going to do? Surfing. If you hate playing sport but you love going to the gym, what are you actually going to do? Go to the gym. So some people love computers and they love Excel spreadsheets. And they just love getting on the computer and popping it up. Use that. I hate it. I can't do it. I can't get my head around being on the computer and seeing the names and that kind of stuff. I love it visually there. So personally, I have one book which has my master list in it, and it has my hot prospects in the back, and we have a whiteboard with our very hot prospects. That's my system. But the key is to actually find a system that you will actually use that allows you to follow people up. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. So number 2 is make sure it's a clear system that you actually can see, that it actually has some structure to it. So it actually has, as I said, I'll go through the different follow-ups that I do, but it actually has clearly the names. You can clearly see it whenever you want. So if it's an Excel spreadsheet on a computer and you're traveling from Sydney out to Parramatta on a train and you don't have access to it, to me that's not a clear system. It should be, if you can access it on the phone, that's a clear system. Does that make sense? See and access regularly, they sort of blend into each other. And remember, it's not one size fits all. So don't be telling people they have to use the same system as you. If you find a great system, absolutely share it, but work with people on the system that suits them. So ask people the question about, if we're working with somebody and they're like, oh, you know, I'm getting lost with my follow-ups, the first thing I'll actually do is find out which system they'll use, and I'll go back to the top and find out what suits them, because my system will not suit them necessarily. Does that help?
Yeah.
I'm normally used to the headpiece, and I'm like, anyway, I like to use my hands. That didn't come out good on me in Sydney.
Go downhill.
Follow-up categories. So, these are the 5 categories. Just to set this, who actually sometimes goes, I've got to follow up, I need to follow up, who should I follow up? Who actually has that go through their head? When should I follow up? So, Larry and I do what we call intentional follow-up. And the intention is along one of these 5 categories. So what we don't do is look to actually message our prospects, message one prospect, then go and message a business builder, then go and message a product sharer, then go and message a product user. We actually message the same people, because what happens is you start getting in flow. You're sending that one message and then you're just tweaking it, and you can rattle off 20, 30, 40 messages in a short period of time to the same category. It's the same type of message. Rather than going, oh, okay, yeah, I've got to follow up Bill, and then I've got to follow up this person, and you've got names in your head, but they're all in different categories. So what we do is we'll set it down and say, okay, from 7 till 9, we're just going to follow up all our prospects. And we'll just go through our list of follow-ups on our prospects. Or it might be, you know what, we really need to follow up our product sharers to get them to come to Super Saturday. So we'll spend 2 hours just following up the product sharers. Don't get distracted by anything else, keep it systematic, and just follow them up in this. And I'll give you the different ones for each of them. All right, let's get cracking. So, prospect follow-ups. These are the different stages. So the relationship stage. One of the best follow-ups that I believe that you can actually do these days, and it is so underused, is Facebook. Now, people normally get up here and present and they say, don't scroll Facebook, correct? Yeah, who's actually heard someone say, stop scrolling Facebook? I'm going to tell you to start scrolling Facebook. I know, right? You're welcome. You're welcome. Now you can feel comfortable about scrolling Facebook. The first thing to do is go and unfollow. You don't have to unfriend. Unfollow every single person that does not serve you a purpose in building your Isogenics business or personally. Unfollow them. Get them out. Stop getting them on your news feed. Find 5 to 10, this is my suggestion, 5 to 10 people that you love watching in their Isogenics journey. There might be people that you want to achieve what they've achieved, that kind of stuff, that you resonate with. Absolutely leave those people in there. Leave your team members that you're looking to contribute to, because that's a follow-up onto what's going on in their life. And get rid of everyone. If you've got people in here that are not serving you and helping you build your Isogenics business that you've just met here, just unfollow them. Don't unfriend them, just unfollow them. Because what happens is, we now can sit down, I can be on my train to Parramatta. I don't even know how far that is, but anyway. I'm on the train to Parramatta and I can just grab my Facebook, scroll and comment. And every single person is actually building the relationship. Because what Larry didn't tell you about that story about at the start, about the guy that actually was bagging on her when she left school, was that she actually received the message from his wife after Larry had commented on a post. He was in Hawaii with his wife, he made a post about end of it, gee, wishes he could do it more, something like that. Larry commented and said, oh my God, it looks like you guys are having the most amazing holiday, can't wait to hear more about it. And then she messaged and said, actually on that I want to talk to you about this Isogenic stuff you do. So that's how it actually stemmed, because she was actually in the thought pattern of that person. So again, following up, if there's 10 people talking to somebody about Isogenics and you're the one that just keeps appearing, subliminally you're just there. And social media is the fastest and quickest way to be able to do that, right? So people say in this business, to get the most information to the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time, right? You can do that and you can build relationships on social media doing it. Now it's not the be all and end all, but it's one certainly impactful method. So if you unfollow, spend your time. I know Larry, before we realised how actual influential this is, Larry just went and unfollowed 10 people a day. She's like, oh my God, I've got like 3,000 friends, I've got to unfollow them all. She just went through and unfollowed. She said it, so 10 a day. Or if she saw somebody on her feed that she needed to unfollow, she just unfollowed them at the time, and eventually she got to a point where she unfollowed them. I'm still in the process, unfortunately, but hey, it's getting there. It is. If you've got a lot of Facebook friends, it's a process. If you're new to this business, when you add somebody, add a new friend, immediately unfollow them if they're in Isogenics. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And don't be offended if somebody has unfollowed you. Or don't be offended if you now realise, yeah, I unfollowed you, Lauren, I'm sorry.
You know you can categorise. So
you can.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to go into it, but you can. You can categorise on Facebook, so you can actually put in people into different categories as well and be more specific. So, next one onto the relationship stage. Larry is massive on this, is that go out of your way to actually help people. So, if somebody is moving house, just reach out and say, hey, I've got a couple of hours to spare on Saturday, would you like me to come over and help you move house? Because invariably what's going to happen is you're giving, that relationship builds, right? Conversations will happen while you're there, relationship gets built, bang, next thing you know. So it's always about, that relationship is always about looking at what you can actually give and add value. The next thing is, sorry, I'll just jump back onto Facebook as I'm thinking about adding value. When you are commenting on Facebook, do not kill anyone's conversation. Do not kill it. So by that I mean, I post, I've just bought a brand new, car, let's say car. I've just bought a brand new car. And then you go on there and go, I bought one of them last week. It's not about you. Just message and say, oh Mary, that's so awesome. Looks like you're so happy, what an amazing looking car, love the colour. Bang, she all of a sudden feels this real warmth from you, rather than you going on and go, I've already got one! Buy a new vacuum cleaner, I've just bought this awesome new Hoover! Oh, Mary, I bought one last week and it's already broken. Anyway, you guys get the picture, I'm sure. Shared information about isogenics. So that's the first stage, in that relationship stage. I'm talking about a lot of these people that have never heard about isogenics, they don't know anything about isogenics. One of the best ones, as Larry said, is to follow people up. Did anyone write down what she actually wrote, even? How? No, sorry, not the ABC. What we call the direct follow-up. So the direct follow-up being that you don't focus on isogenics, because we were in a headspace where we always kept saying to each other, when do we bring isogenics into the conversation? How do I follow them up with isogenics? And all we did was just cut it out and go, we pretty much these days we never tell them about isogenics. And then 24 hours later, because we have their contact details, we then follow them up with the, hey, I've been thinking about you. And if you guys write that down, it's one of the most powerful follow-up words you can use. Hey Bill, I know it's been a month. For some reason, I've been thinking about you, boom, boom, boom. However you phrase it, when you tell somebody that you've been thinking about them, they immediately, the guard just opens up. It's like, oh, and they feel good about it, and that relationship builds. So they're some of the most powerful wording that you can use is just to let people know that you've been thinking about them. So you've shared information about isogenics, and nothing's happened. As Larry said, we always pause and give them time because we are, as I said at the start, we are living busy lives. However, you still need to follow people up. So the ideal is you actually have already set when you will follow them up before. And what I mean by that is, I'll use Bill at the front here. I'm talking to Bill and I ask him if I send him a video, if it'll be okay, if he can watch it now. And he'll say, oh, Al, look, I'm super busy, man. I can't watch it right now. I'll watch it on the weekend. Then I set the follow-up straight away. Awesome, mate. Once you've watched it on the weekend, I'll contact you on Monday. Is Monday morning okay? And he'll go, oh, actually, no, I've got appointments on Monday morning. Call me Monday night. Perfect. Set. So then you don't feel guilty or weird about, when am I going to follow this person up? And you don't choke them because you know he's given you permission to follow up on Monday morning, or Monday night. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the more you can get in the habit of setting the follow-up of when you're going to follow up, the easier this becomes. Now, if you don't actually set that, then we always say 24 to 48 hours check in. And when you check in, it'll be something along the lines of, hey Bill, I know you have probably been super busy. So if you guys notice, every single time that we follow somebody up, and this is where I've been inundated from people in Melbourne that said you completely changed our business with this follow-up. People are now getting back to me by giving people an out. Give them an out on everything, where they can actually go, oh yeah, I have been busy. Actually been watching the footy, but it doesn't matter, he can think I'm busy. Because a lot of people are not actually replying back to you, not because they're busy or not because of whatever reason. It's because they might have gone 2 days without following up and now without replying, and now they feel guilty. So most people, when they feel a negative feeling, right? Just play with me for a second here. Is when you realise you've forgotten to do something, right? Just think about it and you go, oh shivers, I've forgotten to do something. What happens? You feel sick, right? And then usually most people, when they get in that state, they do one of two things. They either act on it immediately or they avoid it and push it totally away. And most of the people that are not replying to you are the people that are avoiding and pushing it away. As soon as you give them an opportunity to reply to you or a reason to reply to you, they're more likely to reply. So Bill, going back again, I'm like, hey Bill, I know you've been super busy. Just wanted to check in to see if you got a chance to have a look at the video on the Facebook group. Bang. And then Bill will reply back and say, oh man, you're right. You know, I've been really, really busy with work. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And usually what will happen here is he will then tell me when he's going to watch it because he's feeling a bit guilty that he hasn't. I'm going to watch it tonight. Awesome, man. I'll contact you tomorrow. And all of a sudden, now you're setting the appointment for the next time. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah, awesome. Lots of head nods. So the next one is have said yes and. By yes and, what I mean is, basically they've said they're joining Isogenics, but there's just something there that they have to do. And this is usually legit. So it'll be yes, and when I get paid on Thursday, I'm going to join. Again, just remember, pause, take a deep breath, contact them Thursday. Not Wednesday, Thursday. You can even talk to them and say, awesome man, if you're getting paid on Thursday, I'll get you in the system on Thursday night. If you wanted, you could always ask for the details and say, hey, if you let me know the details, I can get you in the system Thursday night. Products will probably arrive to you Monday or Tuesday. You can have that conversation. It might be, yes, and I just need to check with my wife. So, if that's the case, then obviously you're working with them and, hey, would you like me to have the conversation with you? Work with them and empowering them. And then obviously the follow-up is different. The yes, but is an objection. And as Larry said, there's nothing better than getting an objection, because once you've got that objection, you actually can start working towards getting them started. So, yes, but I can't afford the pack. Yes, but I really don't feel like it's going to work for me. Yes, but. So anytime you hear the word but, you know you're on an objection. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah. So the follow-ups for the yes, but, let's say they're like, yes, but I really can't afford it, so I probably won't get started now. And then they've gone cold. Right? Because if you're talking in them, it's not really a follow-up, you're just going through it. So I'm talking about follow-up. So they've given you a yes, but. They've gone, yes, but I really can't afford it. And you're like, you start messaging them and whatever, however you're answering that objection, and then there's no response. They're not taking any calls, they're not answering the messenger. The best follow-up that you can do is to call it as it is. And that's another key technique on the follow-up, is to actually, Larry said it before, just call the white elephant. Message them and say, hey Bill, look, I know last time we were speaking about isogenics and you were really interested to get started, that finances were the biggest reason that you couldn't get started, and I want to work with you on that. So actually bring it up, because the chances are that that gut feeling again has crept in, they haven't responded to you, they're like, man, if I respond to Bill, then he's probably going to put the pressure on me and give me a hard sell. So just follow them up and actually call it as it is, and then give them the out. Look, if you can't afford it right now, that's totally okay. Let's work together to get a savings plan, or let's whatever, and give them a solution to their objection problem. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. I think quiet's good, right? People are quiet. Paul, if people are quiet, it's good, they're taking notes, right? Next one, they're gone cold. Larry's ABC. This is awesome. If you guys didn't write this down before, I'm only quickly going to touch on it because Larry already stole my thunder and did that. No, not really, because it's actually hers. She taught me. So, the key to these, just in the process, just going through the process, the keys to these, when people have gone cold, is to actually say what it was. Hey Bill, look, I know I've sent you 15 messages and you haven't responded. He knows, I know. Let's just get it out there. I'm guessing you've probably been super busy. A, B, C. So it's busy. B is that you're not interested in isogenics. And did you notice again it's an out, right? And that is totally okay. It's not for everybody. Or C, I've said something to offend you because I'm so passionate about the amount of people I'm currently helping, what it's done for me. Really sorry if it has offended you. Hey, let's catch up for coffee and talk anything but isogenics. Something simple like that, and then next thing you know, you've got the relationship building and you're back in the game. Number 6, no. Okay, no, not really. If they say no, if anybody says no to you, like flat out, no, I'm 100% not interested, it is so important. It is your responsibility to build that relationship within the first week, if not sooner, to make it not awkward. Who's got somebody that they feel awkward that said no to them about isogenics, right? Yeah, we all do. We've all got them. And if by chance you have them, again, follow them up and just say, you know what? I was just sitting at this event and I was thinking about you and how I verbally vomited all over you and I told you you needed to do isogenics, and I just wanted to message you to say, I love you, I'm sorry, like, I get that you've got a different opinion to me, but I really want to keep our relationship. Would you be willing to catch up for coffee or whatever it happens to be? So it's important to get those people that say no and they're adamant no's to just build that relationship back. Hey, that's totally okay, give them the out again, rebuild the relationship, because you don't know when they're going to join. We're good with prospects?
Yeah.
Does everyone have at least one thing in their mind right now that they feel that they could go and use on some of their prospects? Yeah? Oh, awesome. Cool. So, product users. Just to edify what I consider a product user, this is somebody that is not sharing isogenics at all. They've never shared it with anybody. They simply use the products. So, what I'm talking about on your follow-up here, and I believe is the number one. So, who was the lady that raised her hand and said talking about a 5-star experience? Yeah, awesome. So that's what I'm talking about here, and it happens in the follow-up, I believe, is that it's important that you know who your cleansers are and you know the key dates because you're building that relationship with them. But it's also important that you're following them up not just about isogenics. I remember listening to Michael Klaus when we first started the celebration, and he said you need to know the carpet, the colour of the carpet of every single person in your business. And that's something that we've really lived by. In that first 30 days, we really go about not just ensuring they have a great cleansing experience, but ensuring that we actually get to know them as who they are. Because not everybody we have a great relationship when they first start isogenics, right? So we want to, that 30 days is our window and our responsibility to build a great relationship with those people. Because the stronger your relationship at the end of the 30 days, who has issues with people, or not issues, but who feels like their retention and their auto ships and those kind of things are questionable, right? I certainly do. And this is something we continually focus on. So our follow-ups are, after they've ordered, we're following them up with either a welcome call, checking in with them to see, when their pack's going to arrive. The first day, we message them and we reassure them that we're there to support them. So day one, we message them and say, or call them, or whatever it happens to be. I'm just talking message, call, same thing. We make sure they know they can hassle us. So we put it out there. So it'll be something like, hey Lauren, like let's say it was a message, hey Lauren, just seeing, if you had your first shave, how was it? Which flavour did you have? I just want to remind you, I'm 100% here for you all the way. You can't hassle me enough. If you've got any questions, let me know. I'm really excited for you. Something simple like that, so they know that, because again, some people just don't want to hassle you. Like, oh no, Lauren's really busy, I don't want to go and ask her that, so they'll just try and work it out themselves. So we really make sure that that standard is set from day one, that they know they can reach out as often as possible. First cleanse, we always check in on the first cleanse to make sure they're doing it correctly, doing it the right way, that they understand it, that they're feeling good, because we all know that realistically, at the first cleanse days, that people get the most doubt, right? That's when, who here had some doubt on their first cleanse day? Yeah, that's when it creeps in, right? Really? Is this right? No solid food. So we check in with them on the first cleanse day. And then number 4 is after. We do check in on the second cleanse day as well, but key is one of the messages that Larry often sends is something along the lines of, morning Bill, if you're reading this message, awesome, that means you survived your double cleanse. Enjoy your shake. Something along those lines. So, anyone that we personally enrolled, you got that message? Yes, you just realised it's not an individual message to you. Apologies, but now you can use it. Week left in the first 30 days to check in on the auto ship and to talk to them about, here's the thing. Most people focus on calling people to talk about the auto ship, correct? If you change your thinking to call people to talk about their new goals, the auto ships will come. So rather than calling them to actually say, hey, do you realise your auto ship's up? Hey Bill, just wanted to check in and see what your next goals are for the next 30 days. And then you start talking about what's going to benefit him, how he's going to reach those goals, etc., etc. and the auto ship's natural. That conversation becomes very, very, not necessarily always easy, but it becomes a lot more flow by actually focusing in on what they want to achieve rather than what the actual process is. And then, been using the products for some time, and they've got great results, or they've got banked BV and PV, I won't go all the way into that. It's just checking in on people. You just need to make sure. You might have someone that's been a product user for 6 months, right? So if you go into your back office and if this doesn't make sense to you, I apologise, but just talk to somebody that has actually invited you here or is in your team. You'll see that people actually have PV if they've never shared. Because they order product, they actually generate PV. And there's people that sit in your business that have got 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 PV that you can have a conversation to explain becoming consultant is not worth 370 to them anymore. It's actually could be worth 600 or 700 based on how many times they cycle. Because most people don't realize when they become a consultant, the personal volume goes onto their weakest legs. So they may have 5, 6, 7 cycles sitting there. So it's a great follow-up technique to be able to go back to those people and talk to them about what it financially means to them. And don't talk to them about cycles. When you contact them, this is the wording we'll use for one of those people, is, hey Bill, man, I know you've been loving these products. I just realised you've been on these products for 9 months now. And you've been ordering a President's Pack every month. And because you've been doing that, you've actually built up what I sort of call rewards points. And if you share Isogenics with 2 people, this is what it's going to translate into, bang, X dollars. That's it. Don't explain you plus 2, them plus 2, because clearly they're 9 months in, product users, all you're looking to do is get them to share. And then you let them know you're there to do it. So, if you're interested in sharing with anyone, I've got some great ideas to be able to help you do that, let me know. And of course, if there's $800, $900 sitting on the table, do people want it? Yeah, they've earned it. So I'll make sure that I let them know that they deserve it, they've earned it, because they've been a loyal Isogenics product user. And then in their mind, it doesn't get too weird either. So has everyone got at least one thing they can follow up somebody that is using the Isogenics products that's never shared with? Yep, awesome. Product sharers for follow-ups, events. Who wishes they had somebody else here with them? That's awesome. So, we treat events like we treat prospects. Because the fact of the matter is, the first time you invite someone to an event is not always the time that they come to the event. What do we say at the start? People live busy lives. It's not a priority. They enjoy the products. Becoming financially free or earning residual income or whatever it happens to be, this time is not a priority. So you need to keep following those people up. Who's had somebody that's told them more than 5 times, sorry, I can't come to an event? Yeah, lots of us, right? Keep persisting with them. The only thing that I would suggest when you are persisting is use different things. So what I love to do is edify the speaker. I love to edify the speakers. Jen is going to be here. Right? Irrelevant about, so if I know someone's never come to the event and I can say, hey, there's this amazing, amazing woman, Jen Jeffries. She's one of the top naturopaths, or was one of the top naturopaths in Australia, and she's actually doing the presentation about the products. Be really, really cool so you can actually learn more about why Isogenics is actually helping you get the results you're getting. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then they're not interested. Okay, cool. Then I need to move on to the next thing. And you keep following up people in different ways until you finally get them to the event. It could be the community. It could be the business. It could be, as I said, just learning more about the products. So just keep following up people to come to the events in different ways. And if you've got somebody that has told you 5 or 6 times that they're not coming to the event, and you've stopped following them up, and you're one of these people that are like, I'm sick of telling them, they'll come eventually, if they're ever interested they can come along, then go back to think about how many times sometimes you need to follow up a prospect to join Isogenics. And just take that. So our top income earner in our team is Catch, and I invited him for 7 months. 7 months to all the events, and it just wasn't his timing. And eventually when he had a life situation happen and he was interested in the business and I invited him, he was interested in the business at the time, but the way that he came to the event was he's a great presenter, and I asked him to come and watch Larry and I present to give us feedback. And he came along, he watched, he saw some people on stage, and he left and he actually said, if they can do it, I can do it. And he started business. So that was pretty much the whole full story of how Catch got started and how we actually got in there. But I tried everything possible to get in there because in my mind, I'm like, if he comes to an event, he's going to get this. He'll start sharing isogenics. Nothing worked. So does that make sense, everyone? So just find different ways. New promotions are fantastic. Anytime they put out a new promotion, I used to follow up the product sharer, because don't expect that people know that mint chocolate is here. Don't expect that people know that there's a $25 membership whenever that happens. Don't expect, what else have we had recently? Free shipping.
Omega-3s.
Vegan dairy shakes. Don't expect that people actually know that these things are available. Yes, we are on Facebook 24/7 and seeing all this stuff and getting the emails at the events, but these are product sharers. It's not their priority at the time, or they might only be having 1 or 2 hours. So it's a great opportunity to actually connect with them and let them know about the promotions and the products. It's also a great opportunity to show them how to share. So they're already sharing a little bit, to actually go out to people and say, hey Bill, I know you're sharing and you want to keep getting your products paid for. We've just released the vegan dairy shake. Here's some wording that I'm currently using to let people know about the vegan dairy shake. If you want to use it, go for it. You need to hand feed these people. As Larry said in her presentation, and we live by that. If people don't know what to say, they won't say anything. It's like, oh yeah, the vegan dairy shake's awesome. How do I tell people that? But as soon as you give them a way to tell people about it, they'll just start telling them, oh awesome, do you mind if I cut and paste that or use that? Yeah, go for it. So actually hand feed them. They have new enrollments, is an awesome way for product sharers. So everyone has IsoPulse downloaded, correct? Yep. So when any of your personally enrolled people who are product sharing have a new enrollment and you see that appear, reach out to the product sharer. Reach out to the product sharer. Hey Bill, I just saw that you've enrolled somebody on a President's Pack. Congratulations. Remind them about the double PIB, because you'll be shocked. We started looking at how many people in our business recently, about a month and a half ago, and we started tracking it. How many people in our business were enrolling and getting double PIBs? And for 6 weeks, less than 20% of people were double PIB in our entire downline. That means that 80% of people were enrolling one. Of the people that enrolled in that week, 80% were enrolling one person. Meaning that their $80 wasn't becoming $320. 80%. I was mind blown. I was like, far out. So that means that's a reflection that we are clearly not sharing two things. One is that the double PIB, what it actually means. And then there's a lot of people out there that still don't actually understand that, and we just take it for granted because we get it. And secondly, that we're clearly not connecting with people to actually help them double PIB. So it's our responsibility to reach out to them and let them know and say, hey, whatever I can do with you, who have you got, actually work with them and give them the support and build a relationship. Because somebody getting paid $80 compared to somebody opening up their ISA wallet and getting $320 is a big difference. Big difference. Big difference in their life, big difference in their thinking, big difference in what the vision is. Tim Hagedorn always says compensation drives behavior, right? So if we can get people double PIB, then it's certainly going to be able to change our business. So that's something we've gone into a big focus on, is helping people and ensuring people know that double PIBs are there. When people come to an event, give them a gift. Welcome them. If your person comes to the event and you didn't even say hello, yet you invited them along, sounds silly, but it's true. It sounds silly. If they're on a webinar for the first time, if you are on webinars, and scroll through the links to see who's on the webinar for the first time and reach out to them. Give them a gift, give them, let's say I had edified Jen. what I would do with that person is I would make sure that I took them down for a big cuddle with Jen. Because that's the reason that they came to the event. And I'll guarantee you, Jen will stand here all day cuddling people if they've come to the event. But it's true, because any of the speakers, anyone that gets up and speaks is always going to be happy to talk to people at the events. It's a great opportunity to do that. So make them feel welcome, make them feel part of the community, make them meet a lot of people. You have read a recent empowering conversation. What was I thinking when I wrote that? You have had an oh dearie me.
So you met someone today at this event who achieved the results that they wanted to achieve.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys are seeing really. Larry makes me look good, right? No, actually, you have had a recent empowering conversation. Here's the thing, Larry was talking about prospect conversations, and that we often talk about the timelining and questioning, and I know that we, again, is something we've reflected on a lot recently, is that we've had so many empowering conversations with prospects when they get started in isogenics. And we started realizing that everyone's not going as fast as us. We turn around and we're like, yeah, there's a few there, but they're not all there. So it's about going back to your product sharers and having those empowering conversations again. Because times change, things change, their headspace changes. So ensure that you're following people up and having empowering conversations, asking them, you know, look, I get that you're not cycling a lot. Is there a reason? What's going on in your life? Have an empowering conversation. After you have done that empowering conversation, invite them to the next event. Because you'll actually find that your invitation to the next event will be totally different, because you'll know the reason that they're going to come in. So if we are going out of our way to have empowering conversations with prospects to help them get started on the products, we need to ensure we're going out and having empowering conversations with our product sharers about what their goals are, what their visions are. Once you've had that conversation, it's like them joining Isogenics. Generally, the price is not as big an issue. Coming to an event, getting a babysitter, all these kind of things, sort of the priority changes very, very quickly. So ensure we're always continuing to have empowering conversations. Well, we've got 10 minutes. Inactives. So, David Jilks. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jen, Paul. David Jilks enrolled 3 times, right? David Jilks enrolled 3 times. Now, for those that don't know who David Jilks is, he enrolled Jen and John O'Patch, #1 income earners in Australia. The 3rd time he enrolled. Crazy, right? So, I don't recommend focusing on these people, but certainly you can send out a message, and here's some good times to be able to do it. A new product's released. Vegan dairy shakes, perfect opportunity. You can still use it, because they don't know that vegan dairy shakes came out 2 or 3 months ago. At any given time, you can still follow up these people with that. Hey Bill, look, I just thought I'd let you know, I know you had some great results with Isogenics 6 months ago, 12 months ago, whatever it was. These could either be people that have gone out of the business, or they're just inactive and they haven't ordered for a period of time. Just wanted to let you know that we've just released vegan dairy shakes, they're phenomenal, etc, etc. And then obviously add a little bit of a personal touch in there, don't just make it a sales pitch, but let them know. New cleanse support pages, so who's in a Facebook group that is around cleansing, supporting, prospecting, whatever? This is a brilliant one. Again, I've got to give my wife credit, because she came up with this. I know, Paul. I'm not sure if I'm earning brownie points here, or... Look, I'm master down the front. You hear Paul all the time giving Suzanne credit. I'm like, he's got to be doing this for a reason. That's legit. Okay, cool. New cleanse support page, where was I? So, following people up if you either moving support pages or giving them an option to stay in. So people are sitting in there in these support pages watching, and sometimes they're just nervous about joining, sometimes they're just sitting in there. Actually following them up and saying, hey Bill, look, I know you, because you guys know you can go back and check when they joined, right? So I know you've been sitting in this cleanse support page for 6 months. And right now we're just going back to all the people that haven't got started on isogenics and seeing if they want to get started. If you don't want to get started, let me know if you want to stay in the page. I don't mind if you stay in there, if you're loving the motivation, the inspiration, the meals. Again, you're giving them an out. You're not kicking them out, but you're giving them an out. Either way, let me know. Hope you're enjoying the page. You can blend it into number 3. You could ask for feedback. You could actually message them and say, hey, I know you've been sitting in there for 6 months. You haven't got started with isogenics. Again, there's nothing wrong with telling the truth. They haven't got started with isogenics. They know it, you know it. Call it as it is. I would love some feedback. We're considering starting a new page, or we're looking at how we can improve the page. So I'd love some feedback. What do you love in the page yourself? What would you love to see more of? Who loves giving their opinion? Everyone. Number 4 is referrals. Going back to your inactives and saying, hey Bill, I'm picking on you, Bill. Hey Bill, how have you been? Look, I know it's been 12 months since you did isogenics, and I'm not too sure, like, you don't even have to touch on them using it. I'm not too sure if you have some family and friends that may be interested in doing it. If you ever do, let me know. You know, I'll look after them. Done. Just ask. It doesn't hurt. Or if people tell you they're stopping isogenics, just ask for the referrals. Who has actually received a referral before? We saw that earlier. There's a whole bunch of hands. Ask for them. We've had some of the best referrals coming from people that are inactive. And then, as was mentioned earlier, you've got 2 options. You can then go back to Bill and say, hey, Johnny's going to get started. If you're interested in getting started and doing it with him again, might be a great opportunity. Obviously, you can personally enroll him and do it that way. And just check in with Bill, because it actually may be enough that somebody he's referred is getting started. He may actually jump in on board. And promotions, if their account is terminated, obviously, you know, the $25 membership fee, free shipping, those kind of things. If their account's been terminated, you can of course use those. Business builders. Honestly, I believe that anyone that is a genuine business builder, that following up as far as promotions and all this kind of stuff, you really shouldn't need to do it. If they're a genuine business builder, they're getting off their butt, they're actually finding out this information, they're knocking on your door, they're calling you for 3-way calls, that's how you know a genuine business builder is. You don't need to contact them because they're continually contacting you. However, these are the things that I believe are important. To pour love into them, to actually just do random acts for them. Send them a gift. Give them a shout out. Number 2, recognize. And it might be recognizing somebody for doing 3-way calls. Hey, I just wanted to, just on your page, on your Facebook, on your group, whatever it happens to be, maybe just as simple as calling them and saying, hey, you know what you're thinking? I just wanted to let you know that I'm watching what you're doing and all these 3-way calls, you're impacting so many lives. I just wanted to let you know, because I think it's just amazing. That might be as simple as that. So just recognizing people, not for their rank advancements, but for what they're actually doing, and reminding them that. Might be recognizing them publicly. Just wanted to give a shout out. Bill just did his first 3-way call. And then obviously the other way to do this not for Bill, is to ask Bill who in his business is doing these things. And then Bill will be like, you know what? Mary, she just did 3-way calls. She's never done one before. And then you can give him a shout out. So it actually creates a little bit of a detachment for Bill, but what it also does is, like, Mary's like, wow, I've got this other support network. It's like, oh, shivers, somebody else is noticing what I'm doing as well. Does that make sense? So it's not always just about you. Which is the talking positively about their team members, collaborating together. So they're your business builders that are in your business. It's not a one-way street. Actually continually asking them for feedback. What can we do better? What ideas do you have? How can I help you? If they've got ideas, let them run with the ideas rather than them having to pass it up to you and you running with the idea. So collaborating as a team. and always just growing the relationship, going out to dinner, putting on barbecues. What else have we got? Just little things. Going out to sporting events, coming to events and having a chat here about something non-isogenics as well. Reaching out to them and congratulating them. You might see that it's their anniversary, so you're just sending them a gift. You might, Jackson Parr and Larry and I have this little thing where we often see somebody out for dinner and we just pay for it. We'll call up our restaurant, we'll see it posted on Facebook, call up the restaurant and pay for it. Yeah.
Not when the bill is
So it's a little
$900.
thing. Like Larry said, don't start tagging us. So, just to finish on, I know I'm nearly out of time. We were just recently, if anyone didn't see our
Oh
Facebook,
yeah, $900.
we were actually out. There were 6 of us. It was actually like a prize. We were at Moo-Moo's in Brisbane Steakhouse. Jackson saw we were there. He made a comment about it. We had a joke. He actually called up the restaurant and he goes, "Oh, you know, there's this couple or whatever it was." Explained what we look like, and the guy came back and he said, "Oh yeah, no, there's 6 of them." And Jackson's like, "What's the bill? What's the bill at?" And he's like, "Oh, $900." And he's like, "Just tell him to have a good night. Thanks, mate." And of course, Jackson messages and said, "Oh my God, your bill's at $900. I'm not paying tonight." Thought that counts, right? Thought that counts. So, business builders, that's the follow-up. Does that at least give you guys something with your business builders and your product sharers to go with as well? Yeah. Yep. Larry touched on objections, so I won't go through that. But ultimately, I really love this. Who's read Think and Grow Rich? Yep, Napoleon Hill. So effort only fully releases its reward after a person refuses to quit. And now we get quit on. I believe that you're not actually quitting on yourself by not following up. I actually believe that you're quitting on giving the person that you're following up the opportunity. So I think it's the most important thing that we can possibly do. And I hope that my hour has given you some great feedback, or some great ideas at least, that you guys can now go and implement, share, and use and build your business. Thank you very much.